Selva is a very unique place among research stations and research facilities in the tropics. It's one of the largest and one of the oldest field stations in the tropics. It's the oldest one in Costa Rica. It was started almost 60 years ago as a research site, and about 48 years ago it became part of the Organization for Tropical Studies. We have thousands of students and researchers that come, and it's a very broad palette of nationalities, of personalities, and interests as well. But there is a group that to me has literally stand out from that group, and these are the Occi students. These are undergraduate students that come here, and many of them are getting their first experiences in science, and you will expect to be very naive and very open to just start learning, but the impression that I get is that they come in here and they're a little bit more mature than you will expect them. They're incredibly responsible about the work that they come to do. They're super motivated to do that work and to become part of the community of researchers.
We'll go out and I'll be looking for grasshoppers kind of on the understory of the forest, and I'll trap them and bring them back to the lab and put them in cages with some plants so that they aren't starving, and then I take pictures of them and kind of note different characteristics, what they're eating, what, like, if I keep them for long enough, I'm kind of watching like how they lay their eggs, like ovipositing characteristics, and then I'm also creating little profiles on each. It's kind of hard because there isn't a lot of literature on the grasshopper species here. Professor Breaker is one of the few who know what grasshoppers are here, so it's very good that I get to interact with her because she knows so much.
And for the past 3 years, this is my first time here, I've been working on analyzing tank bromeliads' utilization of their tank region to manipulate their environment. So my favorite way to describe a tank bromeliad is a pineapple top on a branch. So tank bromeliads are an epiphytic monocot that lives in the tree canopy. You get to meet people who are just like working on cool things, and then also you get to meet people that work on things that are similar, or at least have some sort of knowledge that can help you better develop your project.
Pentaclethra macroloba has been seen to really thrive in the rainforest, obviously, since it's so abundant here. So we're really trying to answer the question of why that is. So it is a really abundant tree, but what is it that distinguishes it from the rest of the trees in the rainforest that make it so able to survive in the tropics?
This is the first time I've really been involved in starting a project, taking the idea from the very beginning and then refining it while you're in the field and seeing, what's feasible to do and what data you think is valuable and interesting, and really being able to take over the process yourself.
I am here at La Selva to research what is eating Pentaclethra macroloba, which is the tree that a lot of us are studying. I'm looking at specifically Lepidoptera, so I'm collecting caterpillars off of the tree and then rearing them into moths and butterflies to update the list of what eats this tree. This is important in the broader scheme of things because it helps us learn more about the carbon cycle of this area and how nutrients are cycled through from the tree to all of these different organisms, as well as just understanding why this tree is so dominant and how things can eat it and still survive because it has some chemicals in it that usually things don't really like to eat. So just learning about what organisms can have a relationship with this tree is important. Being here, learning about how to go about this research project has been really interesting, and being in a different country is definitely a new experience for me to do research.
because you're around scientists like literally 100% of the time here, and it's much easier to, I don't know, just absorb what they know. Whereas at Oxy, you know, you might have a couple science classes a day, or just see your lab professor, you know, once a day. You're not with them 100% of the time. And here it's like everything you talk about is kind of science, which is really cool. We don't get the chance to do this kind of like field research at Oxy, like so immersive. Like, we're doing 5 weeks of work down here. Yeah, it's truly an invaluable experience. It's crazy.
So it's a very interesting, very unique place to bring students to learn how to do research in the rainforest and in the tropics, and basically have an enormous amount of information and research and projects to base their research on. I love to have Oxy students in here because I know that the chances of success of all those students is among the best that I've seen students have here at La Selva.